I just want to say that I feel like such a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders from speaking in public and doing this class. I feel privileged that I've been able to critique myself and also look at other people and critique them too. And I feel like it's been really informative for me, as well as with the reading piece. When we started this class and I did my informative speech, I feel like I had so many mistakes there, and I didn't even realize that I do some of the things that I do. One of them was not looking at the camera the entire time that I was speaking. Number two, I was rushing to get through it, so I spoke quickly. And number three, I noticed I use a lot of what we call fillers. I used numerous times. I would have never noticed that had I not looked at the video. So I was able to see those mistakes and try to make it better for my demonstration speech. I also feel like I used some fillers there as well, but really tried to not say as much and focus on being audience-centered and looking at the camera. Also, small talk when I was blending the cake. I feel like that could have gone better, but I was trying to do some impromptu things as well and just get comfortable with the camera and filming and doing speeches in front of people. So my persuasive speech, I feel like I was more confident in that speech. I felt more confident. I feel more confident now even when I'm doing these things. Whereas when I started, I just was so nervous, and I feel like I use less fillers. I'm trying to be clearer, enunciate my words more than I was. I think it's really important when you're delivering a speech to speak clearly and also have a good tone to your voice when you're talking, as well as being able to back up the things that you're saying. So I really think that my persuasive speech also went well because I was more conscientious of my outline and how I was delivering it from that. And so I wanted to really follow what I had written down and organized on paper. I think that that's really helpful when you're delivering a speech. I think that there's a lot of biblical principles that are relevant in public speaking, and we touched briefly on some of those. I feel like it's really important to just kind of speak the truth in loving kindness to people. Realize that we're all human and we all make mistakes, and we're all here to learn, and just really coming from a place of being kind to one another. Some of us come from backgrounds where it's really anxiety-provoking to speak in public as it is. So I think it's important for us to be kind to each other, realizing that a lot now, even when I'm doing the same. So I think it's good to put that out there. And I plan on using a lot of these things that we've learned. I'm hoping to actually use them in my professional life with interviewing skills, and being able to convey really good communication when I'm speaking or when I'm doing an interview. I'm also hoping to use it a lot at work, as far as with my patient population, in speaking with them and conveying that I care in nonverbal ways, as well as obviously verbal ways, and just listening. I've learned listening is so important. It really is. I hope to also improve my interpersonal relationships with people, my friends and my family. I sort of touched on my patients as well, but really just being able to communicate effectively with the people that I really care about in my personal life. I want to hopefully be a better, like I was saying, a better listener, realizing that listening is just as important as speaking, and that if you have the right balance between both, that it can be really beneficial for both parties involved. Also, very good validation for someone when you're listening to them. So I think it's important, just a couple of things that I've personally taken from this class that I feel are really important are just being able to understand my audience. I think that that's crucial when you're doing a speech. I know for me, when I'm at work, understanding my audience is really crucial because we have therapists as well as medical staff there. And so learning how to sometimes dull down the medical stuff to be able to sort of speak to the masses better is really critical for me when I'm presenting or doing some things at work. And I think it's also critical in knowing that as far as age groups are concerned. Sometimes I feel like the younger generations and the older generations, they have such a different understanding of things. And I also think that it changes the way that you speak with slang and everything like that. So I think that it's good to understand your audience. I also think that I sort of touched on this as well, just being able to support your speech, being able to really back up what you're saying to the audience in order to convey that you care about what you're talking about and it's important to you. And then in that, hopefully, you will convey to the audience that it is also important for them to know. I think that one thing I've learned with our speeches is being able to grab the attention of whoever I'm talking to. Our very, very first impromptu speech, and the first one I've ever done, was actually really funny for me how that turned out. But I feel like that was great in that I really didn't know what he was going to ask me. I really wanted to make it sort of funny and fun so that I would grab the attention of the audience. I think that's very important to do. And also, like I said, knowing the audience can tell you how exactly that's going to be executed. I tend to be funny when I get nervous and make jokes. I was trying very hard not to do that throughout this class. I think I succeeded doing that pretty well. I also think it really, really helped me to be able to organize my thoughts. The outlines that we did as far as our speeches really, really helped me to organize everything so that I wouldn't go off the beaten path and make jokes that were inappropriate at the time when I'm doing my speech just because I was nervous. Or I did do a lot of fillers, but I feel like if I didn't have that outline or know ahead of time what I was going to be talking about, it probably would have been worse. So I think that's a very important thing I've taken away. And I also think, and I touched on this as well, just the effective use of your voice. So not speaking, really loudly, and also not speaking so quietly. I think people that are nervous, including myself, tend to speak more at a lower tone, and it's harder to hear when you speak that way for the audience to hear you. So I think it's good to just use a really good tone in your voice and also really enunciate what you're saying and what you're trying to convey to the audience. I think those are all really helpful things. And I know for me, this class, I was nerve-wracked at the very beginning, thinking that there was no way I was going to be able to make it through, and I did, and I feel better and more confident. I hope to be able to also use this. I'm actually going to be a maid of honor at my best friend's wedding in the next couple of months. So this class has helped me immensely with being confident and feeling confident about doing a speech for her wedding. And so I'm hoping to use a lot of the skills that we've learned in this class to be able to speak to about 200 people and talk about 18 years of friendship. So this has been great for me as far as doing the outlines and things are concerned, and I really hope to be able to use that at her wedding come August. And so thank you very much, and thanks for helping me along the way as I've been learning, and I hope to hear from you soon.